The Invisible Stories Running Your Life, Pathways to Becoming. Chapter 3. Most people believe they are making decisions based on logic. They believe they weigh options. They compare outcomes. They choose what makes sense. But beneath every decision lives a story. A quiet narrative. A meaning you attached long ago. A conclusion you once reached and never revisited. These stories do not announce themselves. They operate silently. They shape what you attempt, what you avoid, what you tolerate, what you believe you deserve. And most of the time, you do not even realize they are there. You think you are responding to the present, but you are often reacting to a past interpretation. Somewhere along the way, you decided something about yourself. Maybe you decided you are not disciplined. Maybe you decided you are not creative. Maybe you decided success belongs to other people. Maybe you decided that conflict means rejection. Maybe you decided that rest equals laziness. You may not remember making these decisions, but they were made. Often in moments of vulnerability. Moments when you were too young, too overwhelmed, or too unsupported to question the meaning you assign to an event. A single criticism becomes, I am not good enough. A single failure becomes, I am not capable. A single rejection becomes, I am too much or not enough. The mind prefers conclusions. Conclusions create predictability. Predictability creates safety. So once a story forms, the mind protects it, not because it is true, but because it is familiar. Over time, these stories harden into identity. You stop saying, I failed. You start saying, I am a failure. You stop saying, that relationship did not work. You start saying, I am bad at relationships. And once identity is involved, behavior follows. If you believe you are not consistent, you will hesitate before committing. If you believe you are not confident, you will avoid visibility. If you believe success is dangerous, you will unconsciously sabotage progress. Not dramatically, subtly. You will procrastinate. You will overthink. You will delay starting. You will quit just before momentum builds. And each time you do, the story strengthens. See, this is who I am. But what if the story is incomplete? What if it was written by a younger version of you who did not have enough information? Stories are powerful because they filter reality. If you believe people cannot be trusted, you will notice every sign of If you believe you're behind in life, you will notice every comparison. If you believe you are incapable, you will notice every mistake and overlook every strength. The story determines what you pay attention to, and attention reinforces belief. This is how invisible narratives quietly shape an entire life. You do not need dramatic trauma for a story to form. Small repeated messages are enough. Be careful. Do not speak too loudly. Do not disappoint. Do not fail. Be realistic. People like us do not do that. Over time, caution becomes identity. Restraint becomes personality. Fear becomes logic. The most powerful stories are the ones that feel obvious. They feel like facts. I am just not that kind of person. That is just how life works. People like me cannot change. But stories are interpretations, not truths. They were created in a context. And contexts change. The problem is not that you have stories, every yondos. The problem is when you stop questioning them. When you treat them as permanent structures instead of flexible narratives. In Chapter 1, you learn to notice stillness. In Chapter 2, you learn that motivation reflects alignment. Now, you begin to see what may be disrupting that alignment. An old story, quietly steering your direction. The goal here is not to erase your past. It is to revisit it with awareness. To gently ask, is this belief still serving me? Is this conclusion still accurate? Is this identity still true? You might discover that some stories protected you once. Perhaps believing you were not ambitious kept you safe from pressure. Perhaps believing you were independent protected you from disappointment. Perhaps believing you were fine alone shielded you from rejection. These stories had a purpose, but protection can become limitation. And limitation, when unexamined, becomes destiny. The invisible story often hides in the language you use. Listen carefully to your inner voice. Notice when you say, I always, I never, am just. That is just who I am. These are story markers. They signal a fixed identity. But identity is not fixed. It is updated through awareness. When you bring a story into conscious light, it loses some of its control. You begin to see alternatives. Instead of, I am not disciplined, you might see, I never learned a system that worked for me. Instead of, I am bad with money, you might see, I absorbed fear around money growing up. Instead of, I cannot speak confidently, you might see, I learned that visibility was risky. The moment the story becomes specific, it becomes workable. Vague identity feels permanent. Specific experience feels changeable. This is not about positive thinking. It is about accurate thinking. It is about separating who you are from what happened. About recognizing that an interpretation formed under pressure is not a life sentence. You are not your earliest conclusions. You are not your most painful moment. You are not the label someone once gave you. You are the awareness capable of revising the narrative, and revision does not require drama. It requires curiosity. Instead of fighting your patterns, become curious about their origin. Instead of criticizing your hesitation, ask what story it is protecting. Instead of forcing confidence, explore what belief makes confidence feel unsafe. The invisible story begins to lose power the moment you question it. And questioning does not destroy identity. It refines italiano. As this chapter closes, you are invited to do one simple thing. Notice one belief about yourself that feels fixed. Just one. Do not try to change it. Just observe it. Ask where it came from. Ask whether it still reflects who you are today. This is how narratives begin to soften, not through argument, through awareness. And when the story shifts, ebbs lightly, your behavior follows. Because your life does not expand through force. It expands when the story beneath it evolves. If this chapter helped you recognize a story you have been living inside, take a moment to support this journey. Like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to YouTube. Come at StoryLifeCreator so you can continue walking these pathways with us. The next chapter builds on this foundation, and the path continues.